Hello traders, this is Dr. Zain Agha from zwinner.com. Here are my recommendations to trade the news during the week starting 30th of October until the 3rd of November 2023. But first, the disclaimer. Forex trading carries high risk. Do not trade with the money you cannot afford to lose. This is for educational purpose only. I am not a financial advisor, therefore I will not be responsible for any loss incurred. Please trade on a demo account first until you are confident. On Monday, the 30th of October, we have the German CPI monthly coming out, and it's expected to come out at 0.2% as against 0.3% last. But we don't know what time. It's saying all day long, so expect it anytime. If it comes out more than 0.5%, in that case you need to buy euro. If it comes out at 0.1% or in the minus figure, then you need to sell euro. Then at 8 a.m. London time, we have the Spanish flash CPI, Consumer Price Index. It's the yearly one. It's quite important. So it's coming out from Spain, expected to be a bit better than previous one. The expectation is 3.8% as against 3.5%. Now if it comes out at 4.2%, in that case you need to buy euro. If it comes out less than 3%, then you need to sell the euro. And then you have at 12:30 p.m. on Tuesday the 31st of October, we have the Canadian GDP coming out, expected to come out at 0.1% as 0.0%. Now if the GDP comes out more than 0.3%, then you need to buy the Canadian dollar. If it comes out in a minus figure, then you need to sell the Canadian dollar. And at the same time, at 12:30 p.m. from USA, you have the unemployment cost index, expected to come out the same as previous, 1%. And if it comes out more than 1.5%, then you need to buy the US dollar. And if it comes out in a minus figure, then you need to sell the US dollar. Okay, then at 9:45 p.m. you have the unemployment change coming out of New Zealand. If it's expected to be much less than previous. It's expected to be 0.4% as against 1% previous. Now if it comes out more than 1%, then you need to buy the New Zealand dollar. If it comes out less than 0.2%, you need to sell the New Zealand dollar. And at the same time, keep an eye on the unemployment rate. It's expected to be 3.9% as against previous 3.6%. So it's not a good sign. If the unemployment rate comes to more than 4.2%, then you need to sell the New Zealand dollar. If the unemployment rate goes down to less than 3.2%, then you need to buy the New Zealand dollar. Then on Wednesday, the 1st of November at 12:15, we have from USA the ADP non-farm employment change. But the traders are going to wait for another 2 days for Friday for the actual non-farm employment change coming out. So you better wait unless you find a lot of difference. So the expectation is 1.41 and the previous one was 89K. If it comes out, say, more than 180,000, 180, then you can buy the US dollar. If it comes out less than 50, then you need to sell the US dollar. And then at 2 p.m. from USA, you have the ISM manufacturing PMI coming out. And it's expected to come out at 49 as against 49 previous. If it comes out more than 50, that's a good sign for the US dollar. Then you need to buy. If it comes out less than 48, then you need to sell the US dollar. Okay, then you have the at 6:40 p.m. you have the interest rate coming out of USA. It's supposed to be the same as previous at 5.5%. But if the interest rate is raised to 5.75%, then you need to buy the US dollar. If the interest rate is reduced to 5.25% or less, then you need to sell the US dollar. Then you have the FOMC meeting, same time, listen to the Bloomberg radio, and then act accordingly. And then on Wednesday, at 2nd of November, at 7:30 a.m. London time, you have from Switzerland the consumer price index. Is a monthly one, coming out at 0.1% as against minus 0.1%. Okay, so if it comes out more than 0.5%, then you need to buy Swiss franc. If it comes out and minus 0.3%, then you need to sell the Swiss franc. And then at 12 p.m. you have the Bank of England's monetary policy report coming out, and the monetary policy summary you can hear on the Bloomberg radio. Okay, at the same time, 12 p.m. we have the interest rate coming out of United Kingdom. The present interest rate is 5.25% as the previous one. So if the interest rate is comes out more than 5.25%, then you need to buy the British pound. If it comes out less than 5% or less than 5%, then you need to sell the British pound. And then at 12:30 p.m. the Governor Bailey of Bank of England is going to speak and listen to the Bloomberg radio. And then at the same time, 12:30 p.m. we have the unemployment claims coming out of USA. Now they're expecting to be the same as previous, 210,000 as the previous week. So if there is any change, if the employment rate goes to 215,000, then you need to sell the US dollar. And if the employment rate goes down to 200,000 or less, then you need to buy the US dollar. And on Friday, the 3rd of November at 12:30 p.m., you have the employment change coming out of Canada at expected to be very low, 24.6K as against 63.6K, 63.8K previous. So that is not good for the Canadian dollar. If the numbers come out more than 65K, then you need to buy the Canadian dollar. And if it comes out less than 20K, then you need to sell the Canadian dollar. And at the same time, you have the unemployment rate is expected to be 5.6% as against 5.5% previous. If the employment rate goes up above 6%, then you need to sell the Canadian dollar. And if it goes less than 5%, then you need to buy the Canadian dollar. And similarly, from USA, you have the average hourly earnings expected at 0.3% as against 0.2%. This shows it's a good sign for the US dollar. If it comes out at 0.5% or more, then you need to buy the US dollar. If it comes out at 0.1% or in the minus figure, then you need to sell the US dollar. The daddy of them all is the non-farm employment change coming out of USA at 12:30 p.m. London time. So it's expected to come out at 182K as against 336K previous. That's not a good sign for the US dollar. If it comes out more than 340K, then you need to buy the US dollar. If it comes out less than 160K, then you need to sell the US dollar. And also at the same time, keep an eye on the unemployment rate coming out of USA. It's expected to come out at 3.6% as against 3.8% previous. So if the unemployment rate goes to more than 4%, then sell the US dollar. If the unemployment goes to less than 3.5%, then you can buy the US dollar. Then you have at 2 p.m. From USA, you have ISM Services PMI 43, expected to come out at 53.2 as against 53.6. If it comes out less than 50, then you need to sell the US dollar. If it comes out more than 55, then you need to buy the US dollar. Now that's all we have for this week. So I hope you will make good money, especially during the non-farm payroll. And please share it with your friends and colleagues, and give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't so far. So I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.